Hello, super conscious leaders. Hi, how you all doing? Welcome to our April new moon ritual. I am Karen Terrace, the CEO and founder of Super Conscious Leaders, and I am so excited for our monthly new moon ritual. Today, we're going to be getting a little update on the astrology, more tuning into the feel. You guys know that I love to really talk about just being able to tune into the energy and not need to actually pinpoint what's causing it. It's about using your own body as a conduit, knowing your own energy levels, how to manipulate your own energy centers so that you can just notice what's going on. And then when you have a conversation with a friend about the alignment of the stars or the Schumann resonance or anything like that, you're able to be like, oh, that's what I was feeling, right? But you already know. You already have done it yourself. So today's ritual, we do have some things. So if you want to gather your items, you can do that while I'm kind of talking about the astrology. So you're gonna want to have a candle and a lighter and sage. That's pretty normal, and a pen and paper. But today we're going to do an intention setting ritual that I call planting the seed. So we're actually going to write down a bunch of our manifestations, a bunch of our intentions, what it is, what are we planting the new seeds for with this new moon in Aries, with this new moon in Libra in Vedic. And really, we're going to write these down, and then we're going to actually burn the paper into our bowl of, that's why there's a little bit of water at the bottom. And then you're going to go out into your garden or wherever you can find, even like a local park, they're not going to care. And you're going to dig a hole and plant your seeds in the ground. Okay. And you could, even if you wanted to add a little extra, actually go and buy a little 4-pack of flowers and just put it in there. The ash isn't going to hurt your flowers at all. So that's the overview. So if you want to look at the list on the description of this live so you can grab everything that you need, I have everything here. I have my water bowl, I have my tongs so I don't burn my fingers, my lighter, my sage, all of these things. So while you're all doing that, let's kind of just chat about the energy that's going on right now when it comes to the new moon, because a lot of you are seeing that today is an Aries new moon, and some of you might have been seeing that it's Libra. As per usual in this group, I speak about Vedic and tropic astrology. Tropic is the astrology that's based off of the equinox. So that says that we're in Aries right now with the moon, and Vedic is based on the actual astronomy of where the moon is. So if you were to pull out your app right now and look, you'd see that the moon is actually a little bit closer to Libra. Um, Sorry, not Libra, a little bit closer to Pisces than she is to Aries right now. So you can see here that there's this that there's a discrepancy. So I like to talk about the discrepancy because some people, as you get more in tune with your own energy, actually get drawn into the Vedic astronomy a little bit more, or astrology, sorry, the Vedic astrology a little bit more, that is based on astronomy and not the equinox, because it is focused on the right now. While the tropic astrology is focused really good for future, which is why we're actually going to be using more of the Aries energy today with our manifestations, but it's for looking towards the future. So sometimes if you're doing a ritual or you're tuning into the energy and it feels like you're reading all this stuff about, maybe you're reading about the fiery Aries and you're reading about all of this, wanting to go do things, and but you personally, this is something that I'm going through right now. I really just want to be deep. I just want to be deep inside. I already did a live today for an hour and it was like, Karen, you got to show up. First of all, I thought it was tomorrow. Second of all, that the new moon was tomorrow. Second of all, I've just been in a super lazy Sunday mode today, right? So I'm in a really deep, introspective space right now. And that is more Piscean, right? That's that depths, that Neptune. And Neptune's still in Pisces, and Neptune is actually in Pisces in my chart. So it's it really is really deep, 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 deep inner work that I'm doing right now. But I know that I also have these manifestations. I have some intentions that I really want to be very clear that are coming up from me being in the depths, which is why I wanted to create this ritual for manifestation and intention setting, really using the energy of springtime that we have here in the Northern Hemisphere. Those of you down in the Southern Hemisphere, You can still tap in and use the energy. There are still things that grow in the winter, you know. So this new moon, there's also several other planets that are in Aries right now or who have just come out of Aries. So if you've been feeling like this burn it all down kind of energy for the last week or so, it's been there because the planets have been there. And it's not even just like it's not the old like burn it all down because like fuck humans and I hate everything and I suck and I'm not worth it. It's more like hedge trimming, right? So you know in English gardens how they have those like beautiful hedges and they're like cut and shaped like different animals or different things like that. Every year they still have to go in and actually like clip and trim the hedges back into their shape, right? And the same thing with your regular hedges, right? You cut them into the squares. But like if we're thinking about sculpting, because we're artists and as well as the art here in Super Conscious Leaders, so if we're thinking about sculpting or something like that where you have this hedge, then you have to go in and you kind of just got to like trim around the shape of the dragon or the giraffe or the whatever it is that's in your hedges. That's more like what it feels like. It's not so much this like full on burn everything down, but the things that are falling away that are kind of being a little dramatic in their exits right now are the things that are no longer aligned with our highest vision, even though it might be something that we really, really, really wanted. Right? Like, I really wanted this to work out, but it didn't. And but I did everything right. Like especially if those there are things like in my own personal life, I'll just be honest, I just had a launch for a course that I was doing and not a single person signed up for it. Not a single person. And so as I look at what I'm doing with my business and what I'm doing in this teaching, I have been feeling a call deep within me for a few months to walk away from my online part of my business and fully dive in to my in-person one-on-one coaching, my public speaking, my body work again, and be here teaching and using the platforms of social medias to teach and inform and to not be where I'm getting clients from because I did everything right in my launch and yet it was crickets. And I was feeling kind of like, oh, it's so much like there's just so much. And for me as a manifesting generator in my human design, if I'm not a full body hell yes, then it's a no. I don't actually have like a maybe place. So I could also tell that it wasn't just that I was doing everything right and nobody was coming back. I was also not like the one thing that I wasn't doing right was having my whole hell yes behind me. And I did have a whole hell yes. Like, fuck yeah, that course is amazing. It's coming together beautifully. But there's obviously something not in alignment for doing it in the online space. Now it's most likely going to become an 11-week in person course that people here in Salt Lake are going to have access to, right? Because the healing here in Salt Lake, it's like really growing, and we need more leaders in this city that don't have like attachments to dramatic bullshit because that's what most of the people in my city, unfortunately, who have been leading the healing community for years, have a lot of melodrama in their human and a whole lot of victimhood. Like some of those things that you read about in like Pittsburgh or LA or Oregon, like it just doesn't fly here when it comes to healing or the prices that you can charge because the community that does exist is like at fucking battle with each other. So this is something that I'm realizing and I'm learning and having to take my own medicine, right? I am all that I preach to be. I need to show up and be authentic. And authentically, I love showing up on social media. I love this group. I adore leading these rituals. I've been leading moon rituals for 3 years now, and I fucking love it, right? So this is a whole body hell yes, even though it was a little hard for me to show up today because I'm in a more like kind of sleepy mode. As I'm going, here we are 9 minutes in, and my energy is like, here it is, right? So when you're really like cleaning up, right? You're welcome, Athena. Yes, burn it all down. Like, what's my truth and rediscovering? Yeah. So appreciate your vulnerability because I'm going through the same thing. Yeah, exactly. You get to this point where you're like, no, I am consecrated with the divine. Like, no, I am on my highest path. There is no like, yeah, there's going to be things that come up, but I know exactly how to heal them. I know the process. There's nothing that's going to blindside me ever because before anything ever actually pings in my reality, I'm like very acutely aware of like, oh, there's something like something stirring in the wind today, sort of thing, right? Which is what we talk about here with the new moons and the full moons. How I say, I don't want you to be connected just to what is happening astrologically, but be aware, be in your own body and be in your own knowing. And if you know yourself, like I know myself, that if I'm not a full body hell yes, even though I was 99% of the way there was something out of alignment, right? And I don't have to go. Old Karen would literally be burning down her website right now, would be saying fuck humans, probably getting on a live stream and like bitching at everybody and being like, oh, you guys motherfuckers, you want your shit for free, blah, 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 blah. Like super angry, super ragey, probably would have been bawling my eyes out all week long, thinking about how not good enough I was and all this stuff. That was not my week. I had a fucking amazing week. I had a beautiful week where I got to spend so much time with my family and get like, you guys don't know this, but my room has been super messy, which is the reason why I've been doing live streams in front of my altar for almost a month, was because my desk couldn't even hold my fucking computer on it, right? It's total chaos. And I was able to do these things and I was happy about it, right? I was giving my whole hell yes to my family and to spring cleaning and to taking my dog on the mountain and doing all these other things. So, knowing my energy, it's not that I'm taking my business and throwing it away. I'm not even like closing anything down. I'm just not doing playing with dragons right now. My other courses are still on there. This group is still obviously here. My one on one readings and all of that, they'll still be all online too. But I'm also getting a studio here in Salt Lake for the first time in over 6 years, that I've had my own space that I can go work. I've never actually had my own space. I've always like had another person that was with me in the space. So we had to like figure out our schedules and shit like this. Like this is my own office outside of my house. That has never happened. It's been a dream of mine since I was 20 years old. I'm going to be 33 this year. So for 13 years, I've wanted an office space in Salt Lake City that I could take bodywork clients as well as now coaching clients. Like getting back into one-on-one, like in person. I'm an in-person person. I show up authentic. Like you see me on the line. Like I promise you, if you met me in real life, like this is what you get. But the energy gets distilled, right? It gets like something breaks down sometimes in that connection when it's over the internet. And I just love the in-person ability. I like to be able to talk to a client during their coaching session and be like, you know what, fuck this, get you on the table right now. We're going to lay some elbows in. We're going to work this thing out in your neck. Like, hold on, we got to get some core work done because I'm full body integration. Like, that's my magic. My magic is in my body work. My magic is in my intuitive healing. My magic is in the infinite knowledge that I have, that I can like do a massage completely in silence with no one that even understands metaphysics at all, and they will be like literally shifted and changed because I'm still doing all of the work in the other spaces, right? That's the Aries energy, right? The refining energy, right? Solve et coagula. Solve et coagula. That is the alchemical formula. Re dissolve and recombine, right? Reconstitute and coagulate, right? You know what it means to coagulate. So many people miss that there's all these other things that go in between, right? I'm actually going to pull it up so that I don't mess it up, because not Full Metal Alchemist, although it's a great show. Alchemical. There we go. 7 stages. There's 7 stages of the alchemical process, and a lot of people just like don't realize it. So the first stage is calcination, which is like the solidify. Like, is there something that's calcified around a problem? Like, if you have a sticky situation, that's like the calcification situation, right? There is something hard. It's the problem. It's the lead. It's the poison. It's the like this, right? The next thing that happens is the dissolution. So dissolving, the solve part, where you're taking that calcification and you're dissolving it and turning it into just all of its base elements. From here comes separation, where all the base elements start separating from each other and like pooling into their own groups, like layering, right? If you've ever like made beer, wine, or anything like that, and you can see the different layers like separating from each other because it's just sitting in the jar, that's the same thing that's happening in the alchemic process. Then there's conjunction, and this is like the recombination. This is where, like, in that jar, you would start mixing things back off and then, like, siphoning off the leftovers, right? So, when they were doing alchemical processes a lot, they would use sulfur and mercury and then, like, drain off what came off of it, right? Then after so once they've recombined it, right, it was separated, they've recombined it in a new way, maybe siphoned off some of the waste product, whatever. Then there's the fermentation, where it has to like really sit there and like get all delicious, like with wine, right? Like you have the separation, there's a whole like filtration phase that goes through, and then they set it in the giant barrels, and it just sits and it ferments, right? So that's that like labor, or that like pregnancy stage. Like this, all those other things, the calcination, the dissolving, the separation, even the conjunction, those are more masculine because like things are happening, right? Like the dissolution, there's still something happening. Things are breaking apart. The separation, they're separating even further. The conjunction, they're recombining. See the actions, actions, action. Fermentation is the female. This is the like, we're sitting and we're waiting. This is the, I had a really great idea. Like maybe one thing that I didn't do was I had the idea for playing with dragons. I got my outline out. I was so stoked on it that I started doing, and I was doing my mirror work masterclass anyway, that I started just like going on my accelerated process. And that could have been something that I needed to actually sit and ferment with longer, which is what I'm now realizing because I'm going through and refining some things and making the modules and all this other stuff. So then you have fermentation. Then you have dissolution. So this is where you now have like the second phase where you're going to like scrape all the gunk off the top, right? That sort of idea. Like it's fermented, it's delicious, it's wine. But before you can just like pour the wine out, you have to like scrape the scuzz off the top. So that's the dissolution. And this is like boiling it and just like making sure that all of the grossness, like purifying it. And then coagulation. That's when it finally comes back all together and your lead is gold, your poison is medicine. Okay, that's the full alchemical process, but it's shortened to solvate et coagula. And that's why so many people are like, oh, I dissolve, I recombine, I dissolve, I recombine, I dissolve, I recombine. That's not what we're doing. And you're going to see that today with the ritual that we're doing. We're going to dissolve it and it's going to kind of combine, but it's not going to be like a fully grown thing yet. It's the seed. It's the the oak tree is implied in the acorn. When you set an intention, it's not a wish upon a star. It's something that you claim to be right now. Not one day in the future, hopefully maybe will be, if I'm lucky, if I do it. No, I intend, I set this intention. Like, my word is God. I am Logos. I am Christ, right? Well, the Christ as me, technically. The Christ is Karen. Like, that level of, like, what I say, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Like, bam. That's what an intention actually is. Not, well, I intend to do this. Like, well, I intended to do the dishes, but then I didn't get around to it. No, like, I set an intention, and I did the motherfucking dishes. That's the like level. So many people use intent. I'm setting my intentions for the new moon, and then you set your intentions, and then you spend all fucking month looking for plan B. You spend all fucking month being like, well, I wonder if nobody signs up for my program, what am I going to do to make rent? Instead of just being like, no, people are signing up for my program, right? And I did. I set that intention, which is why I need to know why I'm coming back to this so hard, is because so many of you in this group are either entrepreneurs like I am, or understand like that there's things, you're in the online coaching industry, or you're in service-based industry, where you know that you set this intention, like this is what I want. And when it doesn't work out, you get to this point, this dissolution point, right? Scraping the gunk off the top, where it's no longer, what did I do? Like, where are my blocks? What did I do wrong that was blocking me? No, you realize that you're in a refining stage. You realize that the idea is fucking brilliant. It is going to set, but you didn't let it ferment long enough, right? And you just get to start doing that with your own process. You don't have to share it to the world. You don't have to do anything that I'm only sharing it with you guys inside of my private group because I feel like it's a really good teaching, like learning opportunity for you. But I'm not going to be going out on my regular page. I'm not going to be blasting it all over groups. I'm not going to be doing any of that because at the end of the day, I know exactly why it didn't work out. It didn't work out because right now my life is shifting to a place that I've actually been waiting for a fucking decade to get to. And I need to honor that. Like, I have to really, really honor that I'm in more of a Piscean new moon right now. I have a lot of intentions that I'm setting that are more of an inquisitive nature than maybe some of you that are like, I intend to have a $50,000 a month. I intend to fill up my calendar. I intend to purchase the boat or whatever it is, right? Like whatever you're setting your intentions for. Mine are much more inquisitive, like really getting clear on what the next moves are now that I am committing to a lease inside of this building and all of this other stuff, right? So, the Aries new moon, Pisces new moon, we're in this state of deep, and this could be psychic gifts, right? Maybe your psychic abilities, you just like really need to tune in. Like you're not trusting your channeling, you're not trusting your visions, you're not really listening to your intuition. That can be an intention in too, right? Like I'm setting the intention that my intuition is the first sound in my head, and that's like that I follow that voice. That the voice in my head is my intuition, the voice in my head is my highest self, and that's the voice that I listen to. And this is really useful when you really get to that stage that a lot of us, well, not a lot of us, that my clients are at, and the reason why they work with me is because they're at a stage where duality is fucking boring, but they understand that non-dualism isn't something that can actually really exist on this plane. So how can you play with the elements in a different way and kind of just literally play and just like see what fucking happens when you mix this with a little bit of that and just like, oh, this is what happened, cool, and just not be really at a stressed out point. And you also realize that your ego and your higher self are one and the same. So your alchemy, your shadow alchemy, or your shadow work is super useful to get to that point of understanding. But eventually you get that you could have just like decided that you were enlightened the first day that you learned about enlightenment, and you didn't need to go on all of this fucking to reach enlightenment. You just thought you did because everyone told you that you had to do to reach enlightenment. But it's really like the second someone tells you that you are God manifested in form, you have the opportunity to choose to believe them then. But no one usually does. No, like that's why the guru exists, right? And the guru is not your best friend, okay? This is the other reason why I'm going to one-on-ones more and going to be in person more. The guru is not your best friend. The guru and you will joke around. The guru and the student have a little like something something that other people don't understand because they're speaking the same language. But the guru traditionally was around to smack the shit out of you. Like to bop you on the head, help you wake up, put you through these trials and tribulations, ask you confounding riddles and all this stuff to make you be like, God damn it, what? I don't understand. And then finally you come to understanding. But it's not like this, oh, you're in a safe space. Come and be held in the warmth of my bosom. The dragon doula, you're in a dragon's lair, man. Like, shit gets intense. It gets hot. It gets sweaty. It gets like physically taxing on your body. And then you are able to go and fly. Is fucking brilliant and amazing. And the other reason why I love doing one-on-ones, because those are the people that are showing up and doing the work, and they're the ones showing up and knowing that they're paying to do something, but I can't do it for them. It's fucking awesome, and I love it. And then I can go do body work, and then they're like, oh, you did things for me, and I'm all like, yep, but do your repatterning exercises, right? It's not gonna stick. Very much like a physical therapist that way. Do your fucking repatterning exercises, right? And the repatterning exercises for the body is the same thing as the repatterning exercises for the mind, like the mirror mantras or your affirmations, or just like catching yourself in a negative thought and being like, nope, I believe this instead, right? I am not a victim. I am a warrior. I'm not sabotaging myself right now. I'm going to find a magic solution, right? That brainwash. It's just repatterning for your mind versus repatterning for your body, but you're still repatterning, You're choosing a new pattern. That's all life is. Are you a rug that weaves white into black and black and white, black, white, black? Or are you more of a checkered shape pattern? Or are you more of a spiral pattern? Like, you can decide at any time what the tapestry of your life looks like. So with that, let's go ahead and set up our space here. So we're going to go ahead and light our candle. Normally I do this at the beginning, but oh well. Just lighting our candle, setting the intention for a clear channel from source to us, from our guides, ancestors, being of light, interstellar beings, inner earth beings, elementals, and dragons to come and gather in circle and ceremony with us today, celebrating this April new moon. Bringing all polarities into the singularity, creating a sacred space and a sacred container for us to create some powerful, potent magic for the betterment of all beings on this planet and beyond. So we're going to start with 3 minutes. 3 minutes of intention setting. So you're going to be trying to find a long enough song. We're going to be listening to a song for 3 minutes, and we're just going to listen to that. And during that 3 minutes, you're going to be writing down all of your intentions for this month, for this year, anything that you're really wanting to connect to this idea of planting new seeds, right? We're planting the new seeds. We are coming into full awareness and knowing of ourselves as the one who weaves our own fate, right? You're weaving the webs of your own tapestry. You weave your own fate in this way. And you're going to write down, again, your intent. It can be your intentions for this month. It can be your intentions for the next 6 months, but doing so in a way that, like, you are a god. You are a goddess. You make decrees. You don't wish upon stars. Okay? So you set your intention like you set a decree. And my intentions for this April new moon are. So we're going to do that for 3 minutes, and then we'll move on to the next space. This song is actually 3 minutes and 44 seconds. So go ahead and get your pen and paper out, and we'll do it. Okay. About 20 seconds or so to wrap up there. Now, go ahead and take your paper and take it out of the book or whatever you had it in. Now, please be careful. Please be careful. Did I say it enough yet? Please be careful. This is why I have tongs. Okay? So get your bowl, your fire safe bowl. You're gonna want to have a little bit of water in the bottom, or like stir the water in afterwards. I like to put a little water in the bottom, that way it doesn't like burn the bowl at all. And you're gonna take your paper and just like read it over for a second, okay? Like you can say them out loud if you want, or just like repeat them in your head. So now, once you read it, just like because you want to remember them, right? Or if you really are like crazy OCD and you like keep track, you could like copy this really quick and come back, like not do this part and come back into it once you've copied it. If you're someone who likes to like keep track of all of your new moon, like maybe you have a moon journal. So then you're gonna fold it into, it just depends on how big your paper is, right? So I folded mine in half and then in half again, and now I'm actually gonna make it into like a fan, because the idea is to be able to create pockets of air right in here, right? So there's like space in here so that it will burn all the way. So it's like this cute little flower of intentions. And then I can hold it from like the tiniest little corner here. See? Because of the way that it's folded, and I won't get burned, and this will all go up. So when you're ready, go ahead and using your flame here from your candle, repeat after me. I let go of these intentions knowing that they are done. And I ask the universe, the dragons, my guides, my ancestors to help me to receive the plan necessary for me to follow to ensure that these intentions are accomplished exactly as intended. Little pun there. Okay. And then go ahead and light her up. Please be careful. Cannot say that enough. Please be careful. Sometimes it doesn't burn all the way. That's okay. Do whatever you gotta do to burn it out. Do what you gotta do to make it burn. So mine didn't burn all the way, so I'm just lighting the top of it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be like perfectly all the way. We are gonna be like burying this, so the more ash that you can have, the better. It's so funny. This like whole little section didn't even burn at all. It's like charred together though. So funny. I'm also a little bit of a pyromaniac, so and like a fire dragon, so fire and I. Please just be smart. It really doesn't mean anything if yours doesn't burn either. Some people are like, oh, if I burn during a fire burning ritual when I'm releasing intentions, it means something. Like, most likely the paper is just like super thick or there's a breeze. Like, it doesn't, everything only has meaning if you want to give it meaning, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, if you want to make it a big deal, then go for it. If not, then whatever. So now you have this mess in a bowl, like ash and water. And what you're going to do is you're going to now take your intentions and you're going to go out again into your yard, into your garden bed, into like a park, whatever. And you're going to go and take a little shovel and about 6 inches down. You want to treat this like this really is like a tulip bulb or something, right? So you like just take the sludge and like you can throw it into a baggy, like a paper bag or like whatever you need to do to get it from its container into the earth about 6 inches down and treat it like you're planting a tree or a tulip or something else, right? Like you're gonna want to really dig it out, make it around, put the sludge inside, the seed inside, cover it over, maybe add a couple things. Like I said, if you wanted to, you could actually go like get a little like flour that you can just buy at the store if you want to wait and like let this sit and charge. This is probably what I'm going to be doing it to be honest, is I'm probably going to let this water sit out because it's the new moon tonight and get it like really like infused with the energy of the new moon. And then tomorrow I'll go to like the nursery, the local nursery or whatever down the street, and I will get a little flower. And I love having flowers in my yard anyway. So just get a new flower and then dig a hole and put the sludge down there first. Because again, it's just ash, right? Like it's just paper and ash. Like it's not a big deal. Even if there's like a little bit of ink still on there because your paper didn't burn all the way, like it's gonna just decompose. Like it's totally fine, no worries. And then just plant the flower over the top of it. Or if you don't want to add the extra layer of putting a flower on top of it or whatever, then just plant this like it's a seed. Okay, and like could go back and water it if you want. Like if you remember, maybe you want to set up some like pebbles in a circle, like whatever you want to do. I have a sacred garden now in my backyard. That's where I put all, whenever I do any ritual like this, or if I'm scattering anything for the deities or like the offerings that I have left over on my plate, I then go put outside. Sorry, on my altar, I'll then go put outside in this certain part of my yard for 24 hours, and then whatever isn't like picked off by the animals, then I just like scrape it off and like leave it in the yard and then come back in or bring the dish back in. So whatever it is that you want to do to make that like to close that out, right? Your intentions have been set, they're set into the universe, they are done. Now you get to know yourself as the person who claims those intentions as done. Meaning like you now get to be the person who does the things that makes the intentions happen, which is why you like say that like I want my guides, my dragons, my ancestors, my intuition to like let me know what the plan is, right? Like make a signal, make a sign, make some sort of like let me know. And you make it really easy because you're like I'm awaiting the plan, right? I am awaiting the plan by which I'm going to receive this intention. But you also want to know when you get that plan versus when it's some other like sign or whatever, because we like to make it a game for ourselves. We like to have like Easter eggs and like shortcuts, but then we also like to go the long way around, right? There's just like when you're working with accelerated ascension, which is what I teach with dragon energy, you want to give clear instructions to the universe. And clear instructions are I'm setting this intentions. Will you please give me like clear, concise, like I know that I'm on the right track if signals so that I can do the things necessary to have these things. I am being the person who has the new car, right? I am being the person who has a new private jet. I am being the person who can pay for dance lessons for all of the girls in my neighborhood. I am being the person who becomes city councilwoman. Like whatever it is that you're doing in your life, you are becoming that person. You will be that person. And by being that person, you're going to do the things that those types of people do. And ergo, you're going to have the things that those people have. It's not once you have the private jet, you're going to start doing the things that people that have private jets do. And then you're like, oh, I'm a person with a private jet. No, you start doing the things that they are doing by being it. Like I identify as someone with a private jet. What do they do? Who are they talking to? What events are they going to? What, like, all of these things. And private jets are not a big deal, by the way. Like, I have so many friends that have taken private jets to, like, out of the country recently because they don't want to have to deal with the piece of paper that we all know what I'm talking about here. Um, so, like, private jets are actually becoming more normalized. Like, what is that going to mean for the air quality? I'm not sure, but like you be the person who has the things first and then you're just going to be told what to do. It's how it works. So let's close out our ritual with 3 chimes of the bell. Loud bell here. So just take a deep breath, kind of just revel in your manifestations for a minute, knowing that they're already done, knowing it's taken care of, everything is working out. If you set time parameters, they will be met as long as you take the actions in the time. If you say, I want a new car by the end of the month, then you better be like, every time you even think that maybe your intuition is talking to you, you better fucking do it like right now. Intuition works in the here and now. The way that time and space and grids are all set up, you don't have the luxury of 30 minutes to think about it. You need to know right now, right? I'm an emotional authority, so mine's much more of a gut check. Some other people with like splenic authorities and things like this in their human design need to have a little bit, like lots of projectors do need to like sleep on it, but that's an awareness that they have. And for the most part, the awareness that they're getting immediately that they're still responding to is I need to sleep on it, right? So they're still responding immediately to an intuitive hit. It's just that their response is to not respond. Their response is to like, I need a minute. I need to sleep on it, right? I'm an emotional authority. So for me, my intuitive is I take deep breaths, right? Like if something's hitting me, because instead of reacting, I want to respond. I don't want to react. Then I will take a full 90 seconds to breathe sometimes before I respond to something, just so that I'm making sure that I'm in check. but what I'm immediately responding to is my intuitive knowing that I'm about to react really fucking badly. So I need to breathe. Does that make sense? Like, that's like your intuition needs to be spot fucking on as soon as you start adding the when into your manifestations. That is the next step. Like, absolutely, all of the books that say you can't decide when, you got to leave all the how and the when up to the universe, that's fucking bullshit. I manifested a new laptop in 2 weeks last year. Like, it can be done. I've manifested $7,000 in 4 hours. Like, it can be done. But it's because you like do the intuitive things exactly precisely the second that they come in, because it's aligning that way. Or if you have it set up that it's like, I have this intention by 2 weeks, I want the new car, then you again set the parameter, hey guides, if for some reason the car I want is better, like I wait 2 more weeks, then buy the one that's going to cause all sorts of transmission issues and all this other shit because it like seems to fit the qualities but isn't exactly what I want. Let me know. Like, send a sign. Let me know. Like, if you would just wait another week, the exact model car that you want with all the bells and whistles and all the amazing, like, nothing's wrong with it is coming. But just so you know beforehand, something that looks really good is going to show up, but I need you to fucking wait, right? Again, this is the constant communication that you get to have between you and your great juju, between you and your dragons, between you and your guides, between you and the divine, as you remember the truth that you are divine and that your ego is the fucking higher self. They're the same. So, with that, let's take a deep breath. Let it out. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Another deep breath in. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Okay, last time, breathe it in. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Thank you for joining me today. I love you. I see you. I honor you. I appreciate you. I know who you are. I know what you are. I know how you serve. Welcome. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this ritual, please make sure you share it with your friends. If you need to come back and watch it, it'll be here. Remember, go ahead and set this out under the new moon. Get all the juicy, delicious energy from her, and then go and plant this in your garden tomorrow morning and let it just get all sorts of delicious energy. Let it grow, right? Let these intentions grow. If they need to, whatever phase of the alchemical process they need to go through them, honor every one of those 7 phases and really start to understand that within your own energy field too, that you get to do all of it. It's not just dissolve and recoagulate. There's all these fun little pieces in between. So thank you for being here. I love you. Namaste.